Hello everyone, welcome to Stampin' Grotto. Today I'm going to show you how to make this actually relatively simple card. So this is made using the Cottage Rose stamp set and the matching Cottage Flowers dies, as well as some of the natural finish ribbon and the Fern 3D embossing folder. So stay tuned. Alright, so to get started, we are going to be using some very vanilla cardstock, some Early Espresso cardstock, some Petal Pink cardstock, as well as some Early Espresso ink and some crumb cake ink. And then we are going to be using the Cottage Rose stamp and matching Cottage Flowers dies, the Fern 3D embossing folder, the Stylish Shapes die set for this label die here, and then we are going to use some of this natural finish ribbon, and I saw in the catalog that they had actually stamped on it and I wanted to try it, and oh my god, it works so well. So we will do that, and then we're going to finish the card off with some enamel dots. These are the Enamel Dot Essentials from the newest mini catalog. So let's start with the card base. So the card base is very vanilla. It's cut to 8.5 by 5.5 and it's scored at 4 1/4. So you get a standard A2 card base. I did go ahead and with this stamp and this stamp, both from the Cottage Rose stamp set, in crumb cake ink, I just went ahead and stamped on the inside just to give it a little bit more detail, and then I can write my note in here. So that's the card base. And then for the kind of accent cardstock, this is Early Espresso. It's cut to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and then I ran it through the Fern 3D embossing folder, so it gives it quite a bit more depth and dimension, and then I wanted to give it kind of a more vintage feel, so I took my paper snips and I just went around all of my edges. In some places I went a little bit deeper than others. And then on these two corners here, I just kind of rolled them up a little bit and then pressed them down and got that look. Again, I just kind of wanted a kind of slightly older vintagey look. For my ribbon, I already went ahead and glued it down. Wasn't thinking, but I cut a strip that was probably about 7.5 to 8 inches. You probably don't need that much, but I wasn't really sure what I was doing. So I cut a strip, and then using my Early Espresso ink and this stamp here, I just stamped along it. It worked amazingly well. Since this is like not a smooth surface, I wouldn't have thought that the ribbon would stamp that well, but it really did. And then I attached it using some glue dots along here. You could also do it with some Stampin' Seal Plus probably as well. I just happen to have my glue dots handy, and I did it on an angle across the corners like this just because I wanted something a little different. So that is going to be attached just like this. And then this is this flower here from the Cottage Rose stamp set. And I stamped it on Petal Pink cardstock, but in crumb cake ink to also give it a more kind of vintagey feel. And then using the Cottage Flowers die set, I just used the matching die and die cut that out. So that's going to go on just like that. And then for my sentiment, I took the Feel Better Real Soon and I stamped it in Early Espresso, and then using the Stylish Shapes die set, this larger kind of banner-ish style here is what I used to cut it out. It was like the perfect size. So let's go ahead and put our card together. All right, so to start, I am just going to glue this Early Espresso cardstock down. So as you can see, I just attached my ribbon on the back. Again, you probably didn't need as much as I have cut here, but it was what worked for me at the time. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue kind of all around the back of this. And then I'm just going to put it down kind of centered. And I did the liquid glue deliberately. I know the seal probably would have worked better. But I wanted to have a little bit of play in it before it actually adhered, so I could make sure I had it applied properly. And I find that the liquid adhesive allows me to do that a lot easier than the Stampin' Seal. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to attach this, and I'm actually going to pop this up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. Move the backings. And then I'm just going to lay this over this just like that. Get rid of these. And then I'm just going to pop this on here. So I'm actually going to stick another dimensional just right there. So I can pop this on like that. So to finish off the front of this card, I'm just going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and using the pointy end, I am just going to apply a few of the crumb cake in the large and the medium, just around my card to give it a little bit of extra oomph. And then I'm going to take one of the smallest ones and just put one right up there. So there you have the finished card. It comes together pretty easily. This takes a little bit of time, but it's actually really quick and easy to do as well. And I encourage you to play around with stamping on some of the wider ribbons, because I was so happy with how that turned out. I am happy that Stampin' Up! Showcased it in the catalog, because I honestly never would have thought to do that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial, and as always, if you are interested in seeing more, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks everyone!